Hello, dear fans, friends, and subscribers. This is your host Ram with your usual cricket show. This on the weekend on a Sunday on Cricket Happenings, welcoming you all to this particular show. And this cricket show today, what it has for you is all the test matches. Yesterday, when I left you, it was England and West Indies battling it out in the first test match at North Sound in Antigua. And as I said, it was very crucial that Krumar Bonner and Jason Holder held their own and saw to it that they took the Windies to safety. And that's what precisely happened. Jason Holder and Krumar Bonner combining into a very good partnership and keeping all the English bowlers at bay, especially Jack Leach. And finally, the first test match between England and West Indies ending in a draw. The other thing that we'll be looking at with the Aussies really ramming it along to Pakistan in the first test match as they amassed a huge score as they closed at 508 for 8 with Alex Carey getting his highest score in test cricket, making 93. As far as India versus Sri Lanka, we are only in the third day, but already there we only have nine second innings wickets to fall for the test match to end at the Chinnaswamy Stadium in Bangalore, where 447 has been the target for the Sri Lankans. They already lost Mathai Ramani, LBW to Bumrah, and now 9 second innings wicket standing, 419 runs to get on the final day for the Sri Lankans with 9 wickets standing. And also, the feature of this particular day on the second day's play was a really a sort of accelerating innings from Rishabh Pant, who slammed the fastest Test 50 for India in Test matches as he went past the record held by none other than the former great all-rounder and captain of India, Kapil Dev, who had slammed a 50 of 30 deliveries. And here comes Rishabh Pant, this youngster, slamming a 50 of just 28 deliveries, 7 fours and 2 sixes. And his innings was something which was absolutely a sight to behold, with all his idiosyncrasies and the way he plays those unorthodox strokes that he is known for. So we'll talk about all that. But first, we are heading towards North Sound in Antigua, and I'm just going to complete a very brief summary of that particular game between West Indies and England, which ended in a draw. When I last left you, I do remember that we were talking with a score on 67 for 4, and Bonner and Jason Holder were doing the hard work. They really grinded it beautifully and saw to it. And as I very rightly told you, this particular pair was very crucial for the West Indies to see to it that this particular test match ended in a draw. Because after that, as I said, Joshua De Silva was there, who can be depended upon, but even Alzari Joseph came out. But again, when it comes to the final day, and Leach could have probably picked up their wickets, but these two are the experienced one. Bonner, we all know, is increasing stature as a test player, as we all know, and Jason Holder with all his experience, and that's what precisely happened. I'm very happy with the West Indies that they managed to save this test match, and the match ended in a draw. Yes, England were crippled. Mark Wood is out of the series, and now Ollie Robinson is the one who's going to be flown in to West Indies. Bonner was not out on 38, taking 138 balls. It 8 wonderful boundaries. Jason Holder grinded his way to 37, 101 balls occupation of the crease, 3 fours, both of them not out, and that was the end of the game at North Sound in Antigua. So the first test match between West Indies and England ending in a draw, and the second test match starts in 4 days' time at Bridgetown in Barbados. So now we get on to the next game. We get on to the India versus Sri Lanka game. India versus Sri Lanka yesterday, when I was talking to you today, I'm going to give you the day 2 report on the India-Sri Lanka game. They resumed at their overnight score, the Sri Lankans, resuming at their the Sri Lankans resuming at their overnight score with I think it was they already lost 4 wickets. I'm just trying to come to that. As you know, they were bowled out for 109, and then India were the ones who batted. I'm just going to come to that, my friends. Sorry about it. So India, as you know, in the first innings were bowled out for 252. The Sri Lankans were in all sorts of trouble. They already had lost. I think it was 6 wickets down, if I'm not wrong. And then it was again they were bowled out for 109 in the first innings, conceding a very big lead to India. A massive lead, not a massive lead, but definitely a very handy lead at that, some 140 odd runs. And Jasprit Bumrah going on to take a fifer, and it was his first fifer in a test in India. So that would have been something that Jasprit Bumrah would have been very happy about. 10 overs, 4 maidens, 24 runs and 5 wickets. 2 wickets to Ravichandran Ashwin, took both the wickets with his carom deliveries. Mohammad Shami, 2 wickets, and Akshar Patel, 1. If you look at the Sri Lankan card there, as you know, Angela Matthews was looking good, was out for 43. But after that, today, there was not much of a resistance at all. Dikwala made 21, but other than that, the lower order quickly folded. 1 to Embuldenia, Lakmal 5, Jaya Vikrama not out 1, Vishwa Fernando 8, as that Jasprit Bumrah took those wickets. Now, India in the second innings, Mayank Agarwal was an early victim to the bowling of Embuldenia, as Embuldenia thought bowled very well. He drew the edge of Mayank Agarwal's bat, and that was the end of Mayank Agarwal, out for 22 with 5 boundaries. Rohit Sharma and Hanuma Vihari slowly settled down. Hanuma Vihari showing his very good defensive pattern that he's known for. Rohit Sharma was also very cautious, one could call, and both of them were just biding their time because time was not a constraint at all. So they stitched together a partnership to take the score along to 98. So basically, if you look at it, it was a 56-run partnership. But after that, the next wicket to go was the wicket of Rohit Sharma. Now, Rohit Sharma was a victim of the bowling of De Silva. Now, this was Rohit Sharma coming down the wicket to Dhananjay De Silva and trying to tonk him over. And it ended in a very simple catch to Matthews at long on. Hanuma Vihari, I mean, probably a bit lucky as well, but he was there. He was a victim of the bowling. Jaya Vikrama was the best bowler along with Embuldenia, and left-arm spinner Jaya Vikrama he bowled a fuller delivery at Hanuma Vihari, and Hanuma Vihari shaping for the sweep was totally missed it, and that was it. It was the disturbing of the furniture, and Hanuma Vihari gone. Bowled Jaya Vikrama for 35 with 4 boundaries. Scored at 116 for 300 stage. Virat Kohli walked in, and so now we had 2 new batsmen at the crease, Virat Kohli and Pant. Virat Kohli made 13, but again, Virat Kohli once again was LBW. The ball actually keeping low, an absolute grubber, as we call it in cricket. The ball kept shooted up, I would say, because it was bowled from round the wicket by Pravin Jaya Vikrama. The ball kept very, very low, and really, Virat Kohli can't do anything. The ball kept extremely low, and as Virat Kohli trotted his way back to the pavilion, LBW for 13. Now, Shreyas Iyer was there at the crease, and Pant. Now, once Virat Kohli was out, Rishabh Pant. Rishabh Pant, as soon as he came, he's such a player who does not need time to settle. He will go and unsettle the bowlers. And that's what he precisely did. He danced down the wicket to the second ball of Pravin Jaya Vikrama and sent it soaring over the pickets for a 6. That was the first stroke. And then he also hit another 6 of the spinner as well. But again, as you know, Rishabh Pant's innings was an absolute sight to behold. I mean, he is someone who not only unsettles the bowlers, he goes for all sorts of unorthodox strokes, which probably it's not there in the cricket manual. That's how he plays his game. But the good thing about Rishabh Pant is that those strokes that he plays are extremely effective. And he showed us why today, playing some really, really, some wonderful shots. I mean, and as I said, he was playing all around the park. There is not a single area that he can say that he targeted, because he was playing with his reverse sweeps. He was playing the sweep shot. He was playing front of the wicket. He was driving square through the point region. He was cutting well. So and he also tonking the ball high and hard into over the deep as well. So there was nothing to talk, and he was using his wrist very well. As I said, certain strokes that probably one is seeing from Rishabh Pant was that there, and he was really going along like an aeroplane, one could call. And that's the precise reason Rishabh Pant went on to slam the fastest 50 in Test by an Indian player, eclipsing the 40-year-old record of none other than the former Indian captain and all-rounder Kapil Dev, who scored 50 of 30 deliveries. The other day, we saw Shardul Thakur in England came very close and just missed it by a mark when he scored a 50 of 31 balls. And here comes Rishabh Pant putting everything to rest as he slammed a 50 of just 31 deliveries, which included 7 fours and 2 sixes, thus holding the record now for the fastest 50 by an Indian player in Test matches. Take a bow, Rishabh Pant. But after that, Rishabh Pant, as is his wont, and that's how he plays his game, he came down the wicket to Jai Vikrama. He could not get to the pitch of the ball. The ball took the top edge of the bat, flew high in the air, and Jai Vikrama himself, the bowler, settled down neatly under it. It was the end of Rishabh Pant, gone 50 of 31 deliveries, 7 fours and 2 sixes, and one thought he had done immense damage at that particular time with that knock. And also, particularly, really, what is noteworthy of the fact is that after Shreyas Iyer, Rishabh Pant is another player who has really, on a very tricky wicket, if you can make 50 or 67 like what Shreyas Iyer did. Like once again, Shreyas Iyer topped the scoring in the second innings as well, added to his 92 in the first innings. India probably definitely looking at victory here. There's absolutely no doubt that Shreyas Iyer is going to take the Man of the Match award. Rishabh Pant was out for 50. Shreyas Iyer carried on in the company of Ravindra Jadeja. Jadeja made 22 with 3 boundaries before Fernando actually clean balled him as he tried to dab a delivery square of the wicket, and it went on to hit the stumps. So Jadeja was gone for 22. Shreyas Iyer, after Rishabh Pant's dismissal, we saw how he was playing his strokes. He was playing his strokes with point precision and with gay abandon as well. 9 fours embedded his knock of 67 with 9 boundaries. Ashwin was a victim of the bowling of Pravin Jai Vikrama for 13. Akshar Patel was clean bowled by Embuldenia for 9 with 1 boundary with a ball that spun back sharply. Mohammad Shami was told to go and indulge himself, which he normally does nowadays in Test matches, as we have already seen. That's what he did. Shami threw his bat and collected an unbeaten 16 of 8 deliveries, 2 fours and 1 6. And India declared the innings closed at 303 for 9 declared, just to have a stab at Sri Lanka for probably 7 overs. But looking at the bowling figures from the Sri Lankans, as I said, Pravin Jai Vikrama was the one who was the pick. 19 overs, 2 minutes, 478. Embuldenia also chipped in nicely. 20.5 overs, 1 made in 87 runs and 3 wickets. 1 wicket opposed to Vishwa Fernando and Dhananjay De Silva. And Lakmal in his bowling for the last time in a Test match, a swan song game. Unfortunately, I have to say that Sunanga Lakmal could not get, and we know the wicket was not something which was conducive for the pace bowlers or the swing bowlers. But nevertheless, he did his job. 10 overs to none for 34. And probably that is the last that one has seen of Suranga Lakmal. Very sad. Probably Suranga Lakmal would have probably expected a nice send-off here. But unfortunately, that was not the case. But definitely, Suranga Lakmal has been a very, very line-hearted bowler for Sri Lanka over the years. And Sri Lanka, in the 7 overs that they faced, they lost the wicket of Lairu Thirimane in the very, very first over with the third delivery. Jasprit Bumrah struck when the ball once again jagged back in a serious manner and went on to hit the pad first. It was reviewed, but out came the verdict from the umpire, third umpire, saying that the ball had first hit the pad and then the bat, And that was the end of Laidu Thirimane. LBW bowled Bumrah for naught. So Bumrah providing the breakthrough. And after that, it was Dimuth Karunaratne and Kushal Mendis at the crease deciding that they are also going to follow in the way the Indians played, and that was to play some aggressive cricket and really start playing some strokes, because they realized that there's no point in pottering around on this wicket, because it's only going to be a matter of wastage of time, and then finally their wickets are going to go on this particular tricky track. And then finally, when stumps were drawn for the day, Dimuth Karunaratne, with the captain of the Sri Lankan team, not out on 10 with 2 boundaries, and Kushal Mendis not out on 16 with 3 boundaries, solved the day for Sri Lanka. 28 for 1 was the final tally. They have a huge mountain to climb tomorrow, and on this particular wicket, one would fancy that India is definitely going to go and win the test match, unless there is going to be something drastic, because as I said, it's not going to be easy. The ball is extremely new. It's just 7 overs old. It's a pink ball, which definitely will swing as well. And so there's going to be a sort of a real, and also there was a close shout for, I think it was Kushal Mendis. The ball fell agonizingly short of the fielder. It was Ravichandran Ashwin, the bowler. So definitely the spin is going to be very difficult. We are coming into the third day's play, and I'm sure we are probably going to see the end of the test match tomorrow. That's on the third day itself, giving the players immense rest for the next 2 days, I reckon, because unless and until it's going to be a real miracle, to play there. But one thing, the advantage for Sri Lanka here, only one small advantage, but not a big advantage, I would say, because on this particular track, to even survive is going to be difficult, because the ball is doing everything. As I said, the ball is spitting, the ball is turning, the ball is bouncing. So you absolutely have to play your strokes. And 28 for 1 final verdict. Bumrah 1 for 9, Shami none for 13, Ashwin. So I think the work is really cut out for the Sri Lankans. 419 runs to win. They have 3 full days to do so. That's the good part of it. And they can bide their time at the crease. But again, as I said, on this particular track, if you're going to bide your time at the crease, it's probably not going to be something that is going to help you. I think it's better to go with all your guns firing, start playing the strokes against the bowlers, and trust your luck. That's the best thing that one could do on this particular track, which is definitely a spiteful track, one could call. Well, so now let's get on from here to Australia versus Pakistan. We go on to the National Stadium in Karachi on the second day's play, where the Aussies amassed 505 for 8 declared, but probably was thinking there could be a declaration. It was not. They decided to play on, as 505 for 8 was posted by the Aussies on the second day of the second test match against Pakistan. Usman Khwaja carried on not in a similar manner. He was kept a bit quiet. He was a bit slow, one thought, but finally he was a victim of the bowling of the right arm offie Sajid Khan. That was a wonderful delivery from Sajid Khan. It was drifting. There was a lot of drift seen on that particular delivery. Landed on the good length spot, and Usman Khwaja was on the back foot to defend it. But it beautifully, the ball spun past the edge, and that's it. It was brilliant bowling, I thought, and had gone on to hit the stop of the off stump. So that was the end of Usman Khwaja. But after that, Nathan Lyon definitely is someone. I have a feeling that Nathan Lyon probably thinks that he's probably nearing his retirement, as we all know. And because I also saw him in against England also in the Ashes test, where Nathan Lyon was trying to play his strokes and was providing immense entertainment. He even hit some sixes of the pace bowlers, and probably he wants to indulge himself. And Nathan Lyon is very clear in what he wants to do. The other day he was the night watchman. Today he really started playing his strokes, which is good to see. There was some real entertainment, come fine boundaries coming from the bat of Nathan Lyon. But once again, Nathan Lyon missing, not getting his test 50, the maiden test 50 that he would have loved to do just before retiring from cricket, I reckon. So Nathan Lyon made 38, 5 boundaries in that. Travis Head could not do much after having a very good Ashes series. He fell for 23. He was eligible with Sajid Khan for 23 with 5 boundaries. Again, Sajid Khan, as I said, was bowling very well. He was got a nice drift in the air, and that was the end of Sajid Khan. Sorry, that was the end of Travis Head by Sajid Khan. He was gone for 23. Cameron Green tried to play a neat knock of 28 with 2 fours and 1 6. He was clean bowled by Noman Ali. Green was deliberately padding because, as you know, the Pakistanis, as the other day we know that they were talking about a negative line. He was trying to do that, but probably Green got a bit frustrated, and he decided to really go for it. And it was all the end of Cameron Green. Alex Carey was the one who really battled along very well and played and got his highest test score of 93. Missed his century. He was clean bowled by the Pakistan captain Babar Azam as a maiden century eluded Alex Carey by 7 runs. It was a flighted, innocuous delivery from the captain Babar Azam. Carey was onto the sweep shot, and the ball keeping a touch low, and that was it. It went and hit the off stump. Alex Carey was gone. Bowled Babar Azam 93, 7 fours and 2 sixes, his highest score in Test matches, and that would give him lots of confidence because as a keeper he has already showed that what he is capable of. Now, as a batsman, you always expect a wicket keeper to actually show his batting wares as well. So, but this is what Alex Carey showed, and we all know that Alex Carey is an exciting player, and he did a good job. At the end, when stumps were drawn, the captain Pat Cummins was at the crease, head to score. Mitchell Starc had really, I would say, buckled down. There was no aggressive strokes from Mitchell Starc. Normally, Mitchell Starc is someone who likes to play the stroke, but I thought he played with a lot of responsibility there, as they decided that they don't want to declare. I wouldn't be surprised tomorrow on the third day if Pat Cummins applies the declaration and we see Pakistan batting here. And the reason I say that is that this pitch definitely is cracking. We saw what Sajid Khan was doing, Nauman Ali was doing. So definitely there is something in for the pitch, for the bowlers, and some certain balls are keeping low. There could be some reverse swing seen as well. So I think we are in for a real treat here, and it will be interesting to see what is Pat Cummins going to do, whether he's going to declare the innings closed tomorrow in the morning on the third day, or he's continuing to play. It'll be interesting to see. But I think Pakistan are going to have their work cut out because I think this pitch, compared to Rawalpindi, is definitely assisting the bowlers now. So 1 wicket to Hassan Ali, 2 for 55. Shaheen Shah Afridi, there was one brief spell of Shaheen Shah Afridi, which was real thunder, one could call, because he was really getting the ball to rip with some rip swinging Yorkers. Ashraf, 2 wickets. Sajid Khan, 2 for 151 and 1 for 115 for Noman Ali. Babar Azam chipping in 1 wicket as well. The important wicket, Alex Carey. Well, dear fans and subscribers, an absolute pleasure bringing you this cricket show. As usual, hope you all loved the broadcast and looking forward to your company once again, but not in the week. Again, it will be going back to the weekend on a Saturday when I'll be seeing you in all flesh and blood. But other than that, as I always tell you, keep an eye on my Twitter page. Keep an eye. Website I wouldn't probably be, but the Twitter page is something that you could be your best bet. Sometimes I do tweet on cricket, and also the other bet would be the. I know we are talking about the cricket Reddit, where on the Cricket Buddies I definitely write some cricket briefs as well. So keep an eye there. And it was an absolute pleasure bringing you this great show. Hope you all liked it, and look forward to your company once again on Saturday. Until then, it's goodbye.